BuckeyeHuddle.com. We are here just outside of Springfield. Springfield head coach Mo Douglas, your star player, just committed to Ohio State. A very, very competitive recruiting battle. What was it like for you as both someone who guides Aaron through the recruiting process, but also has to deal a lot with the coaches and coming in and calling you and wanting to know what's going on, and how much of a, I guess, relief is this now you get this over?
The last 2 weeks have been crazy. The last 2 weeks have been probably pretty tough. They've been probably the toughest as far as a recruiting decision that I've ever had to be involved with. I got great friends with Coach Clinkscale up in Michigan, and then getting to become good friends with Tim the last 2 years, and I'm just glad that the process is over.
What do you see out of him as far as what makes him so unique? Because he's like a national prospect. A lot of people think he's the best player in Ohio. What are the things that you see on a daily basis from him that makes him that caliber of player?
Just his work ethic and his attention to detail. He's a competitive son of a buck, and if he loses a rep, he's going to come back and do it too. And he's just a competitor, man, and I'm just so happy that he's been able to continue to grow. He's a great listener, and 3 years ago when I told him, he was our quarterback as a freshman, and 3 years ago I told him, man, I don't see quarterback in your future, man. I think that you could be a big-time recruit at corner and possibly play in the league if you stay healthy. And 3 years later, he's a national recruit. And now he's going to Columbus.
Now, he listened to you. I mean, you played defensive back in the NFL, so you know what you're talking about. But, you know, some of these guys, whether it's the sport they want to play or the position they want to play, they don't like to listen at that age.
Yeah.
That's a pretty mature decision, I think, on his part to make that. I mean, how were those conversations?
They went pretty well, because as a freshman, when we would do our one-on-one periods, even though he was a quarterback, I would take him sometimes and let him get reps as a defensive back. And in the process of seeing him do those things, I saw his hip movement, I saw his long arms and his reach, and then he played in the 8th grade as well as played cornered in. But that year, we were able to see some things, and I know at the beginning he probably didn't believe it because he was still wanting to be a basketball player. But at the end of that sophomore year, I think he got a couple little offers that came in, and he started believing it a little bit more.
You've coached a lot of Division I defensive backs from your time here and at Trotwood, sent guys to Michigan, Kentucky, Ohio State. Where does Aaron's potential maybe stack up with some of the great guys you've coached, and just what makes him, I guess, that guy for you?
Man, his length, he's long, he's got all the intangibles that they want. He's got great hip movement. Got good strength. He's gotten a lot stronger. I think he's maybe gained 15 pounds this offseason. For the first time, he got a chance to lift because he didn't play basketball. Mm-hmm. And he just got the makeup. And good Lord willing, stay healthy. He played 3 to 4 years at Ohio State and then have a long, prosperous career.
You've known a lot of the guys at Ohio State for a while. Obviously, they've recruited your program. You know, you've built relationships with those guys as well. What do you think helped them here with how they? Because I know there's maybe some times where, you know, depth chart was being looked at, and how do you think Ohio State did here with just the relationship building, just the recruiting? Kind of what was that like for you? Kind of being a go between there for that.
I'll tell you what, that was the first time that we had Ryan Day in the building. You know, we got Ryan Day, we got Tim when he could get out. I think I met every freaking coach. I met every coach that they had on the staff at one time or another, and I think that part it helped out a lot with his recruitment, because they got a chance to see him, be around, meet his family and things like that, and just establish the trust factor with those guys.
What are your impressions of Coach Walt? When you said you got to know him pretty well the last couple of years from recruiting Aaron's, this guy came back from the NFL, was in college for a while, went to the NFL, came back. What made him an effective recruiter, and kind of just your impressions of talking to him and having those conversations with him?
He's got great vision. I mean, for his defensive back room, I think he's going to have a few guys that'll be in the next few years. He'll have some guys that are first-round draft picks. I think his ability to coach the position, because he played the position. He's coached it at the highest level. I didn't know him earlier, but he played with one of my old coaches and teammates, Jeff Graham, And that's how I kind of got the meeting was through JG, and that part just helped out a lot. And I think Tim's done a good job, man, and they'll only get better, man. And hopefully this year they can play a lot better on the back end than they did last year.
Yep. Did it feel to you like Aaron was a priority, not just like the token, like, okay, he's from Ohio, and he's good, so we have to offer him or whatever.
Yeah.
Did it feel like, whether you were in Springfield, Ohio, or Springfield, Massachusetts, did it feel like Aaron was just a guy they had to have?
Yeah, he was a priority get, and that part I think it helped out a lot too. And I think at the end of the day, I think that had a lot to do with this decision, because I know he really loves Coach Klink and the relationship that they had. And I know that's probably the hardest thing about this whole thing, is that you build those relationships with those other coaches, and then when you go to another spot, that's tough. But I think when they're making him a top priority prospect and pick for them, I think that was the thing that pushed him over the top.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. We'll see you here in a few weeks. Good luck this season.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Mark.
Yep.